In the headlines, Godswill Akpabio emerges Senate President, defeats Abdul Aziz Yari. Tajuddin Abbas is elected Speaker of House of Representatives. Boat conveying 100 persons capsized in Kwara. And on the international scene, 6 killed in Ukraine Kryvyi Rih attack. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in full. Senator Godswill Akpabio has emerged president of the Nigerian Senate. He defeated his lone opponent, Senator Abdul Aziz Yari, in a keenly contested election. Senator Ali Ndume nominated Akpabio, while Senator Elisha Abbo nominated Yari when the clerk of the National Assembly, Sani Tambuwal, called for nomination. Yari's nomination was, however, rejected as unconstitutional by Senator Tahir Monguno, creating rowdiness in the chamber. After the election, Senator Akpabio was declared winner by the National Assembly clerk, Sani Tambuwal. Akpabio got 63 votes, while Yari had 46, while no persons abstained from voting. The APC consensus candidate, Tajuddin Abbas, has emerged the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Abbas polled 353 votes to defeat the immediate past Deputy Speaker Ahmed Idris Wase, APC Plateau, and Aminu Sani Jaji, APC Zamfara, who got 3 votes each. Before the commencement of voting, Abbas was nominated by the immediate past House leader Alhassan Ado Doguwa and seconded by Nolim Naji. Tijani Kayode Ismail nominated former Deputy Speaker Ahmed Idris Wase, and his nomination was seconded by Muhammad Ari Abdul Mumin. Ahmed Yusuf Ibrahim Doro nominated Aminu Sani Jaji, who was seconded by Muhammad Aminu Ibrahim. Abbas, however, scored the highest votes to emerge the Speaker and was immediately sworn in by the clerk of the National Assembly, Sani Tambuwal. The members representing Rogo constituency, Jibrin Falgore of the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, has been elected the new Speaker of the Kano State House of Assembly. Bello Butu, representing Dawakin Tofa, is returned Deputy Speaker after inauguration of the Assembly on Tuesday. The new Speaker pledges to work in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
And that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
40 members of the Kano State 10th Assembly have now taken their oath of office within the Assembly's complex.
That as Speaker of Kano State House of Assembly, I will discharge my responsibilities.
I will discharge my duties.
By duties to the best of my ability. Faithfully. And in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Representing Rogo constituency in the Assembly, the Speaker, while taking his oath of office, assured that the House will not waste time in moving ahead with the assigned responsibility by the good people of Kano State.
I wholeheartedly accept the mandate, and I pray for Allah to intervene and guide me throughout my time as the Speaker of this Honorable House. It is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most compassionate, who made it possible for me to be the Speaker of this Honorable House. I must also thank and appreciate His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf.
To be deputized by Bello Butu of Rimingada Tofa constituency, the Speaker also promised that all other principal officers of the 10th Assembly will be announced in the next coming days. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, Olaposi Ogini, has denied his purported arrest, saying he only honored police invitation to Abuja. He accused the party's governorship candidate, Olufemi Oguntoyinbo, and some others are responsible for the widespread of his fake arrest. Ogini spoke at a June 12 Democracy Day celebration with the topic Dr. Boniface Anyebonam, the messenger of God for a new Nigeria, held in Abeokuta, the state capital. He described the petition written to the police as frivolous and nonsense, saying he was not a terrorist, money launderer, and a gun runner. Ogini, while commending the police for carrying out their duties professionally, urged Nigerians to see police as their friends. Ogini, however, called on the NNPP presidential candidate, Rabiu Kwankwaso, to call all those causing trouble in the party following the party's withdrawal of petition against Governor Dapo Abiodun election victory and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
They invited me to Abuja, and I answered the question, and they did what is expected of a professional police all over the world. I say kudos to them. And I want them to keep it up. And I want to assure Nigerians that this is a new order in Nigeria. Police, they are your friends. If you are not criminal-minded, you are a friend of police. So all the frivolous things that they have said and all the allegations that are founded, I want to tell you, this is me sitting down in the NNPP secretariat in Abeokuta. Hi, Comrade Ogini Olaposi, I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a gun runner. And I'm not a 419er like some of them that think that maybe we are doing money laundering.
A boat ferrying over 100 people has capsized on the River Niger around Patigi in Kwara State. The incident occurred at the early hours of Tuesday as they were returning to Ebu village after a wedding ceremony at Boti community. A resident of Patigi, Malam Isa Gimba, told our reporter that the bodies of 15 people have so far been recovered out of the over 100 on board. The Secretary, Patigi Local Government Area, Malam Idris Pata Mohammed, said the council has mobilized people to support the survivors who caught across Zakan in Kwara and Sampi village in neighboring Kogi State. He, however, advised people residing in riverine areas to desist from night journey as the River Niger may overflow its banks from time to time due to heavy downpour. In 2023 alone, states such as Bayelsa and Niger have also experienced several ghastly boat mishaps. June 12, a public holiday was not celebrated in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital. Our correspondent went round the state capital and sent in this report.
Apart from government ministries, banks, boards that were under lock and keys, no sign that the June 12 public holiday is being observed. Business activities, vehicular movement on the street are taking place unhindered. Ilyasu Ismaila, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Taraba State Command, said only the essential workers are rendering services. He added that they are on duty because of some hoodlums who will seize the opportunity of public holiday to perpetrate evil.
When there is a public holiday, the security agencies are always up and about because that is the most time when crime is even more prevalent because many people are no longer where they are supposed to be. So some hoodlums may take it as an advantage for them to perpetrate their crime. So that is why we are always on ground during public holidays.
He called on all essential workers to emulate them and work on daily basis, irrespective of public holidays.
Our men, as you can see, they are up and about. They are going about their duties as usual, as if it is not even a public holiday, so that we can keep the level of crime in the society at a very low level.
The head of Jalingo Local Government Administration, Malam Isa Ida, told media that he owed it a duty to remain in a local government secretariat as the head to ensure no staff use the chance for selfish reasons.
Those essential services, you can see them around. The police, the hospital, whatever, you can see them around. They didn't refuse to go. They are still there. That's why I'm here. Okay? We are on essential service. Whether there's holiday or not, we're expected to be in our place of work. So that there are some essential service which we render to the public.
According to others, people are not familiar with June 12 as Democracy Day.
But I learned that the same 29 May that happened to be our Democracy Day before is now no longer a public holiday. Okay. We only hand over power that day and celebrate the Democracy Day today.
Attempts to speak to police authority in the state didn't yield results.
Meanwhile, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde wants more Nigerians to contribute their quota towards the sustenance of democracy. The governor gave this charge in Ibadan during a commemoration service in celebration of this year's Democracy Day celebration. Governor Makinde also urged the citizenry to be vigilant and stand against enemies of Nigeria. The report.
It's Democracy Day celebration in Ibadan, and the state governor Seyi Makinde and other top government functionaries are at the Orita Mefa Baptist Church, Yemetu, to render thanksgiving for the sustenance of our democracy over the past decade. In a sermon, chairman of the Oyo State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Joshua Akinyemiju, charged political office holders to be more selfless in the discharge of their constitutional duties.
A leader must be respected, must be honored, must be obeyed, must be assisted. When they say give Caesar what belongs to Caesar, we are not talking about idol. We are not talking about the devil. We are talking about do your part where you are, your state, do your part.
Governor Seyi Makinde emphasized that there is need to celebrate our democracy despite the challenge.
We must guard our democracy. It is still the type of governance where everyone is involved. And until you actually go through the process and you have an outcome, you don't know what is going to happen.
The governor also buried his mind on the forthcoming inauguration of the leadership of the 10th National Assembly, an exercise he wants to reflect Nigeria's diversity.
All the governors in Nigeria, and I'm saying it publicly, we came together and we said we will support the choice of the president.
Speakers here want political office holders to be more deliberate about Nigeria's development. They also want government to address issues that affect the ordinary Nigerian, like unemployment and poverty.
As Nigeria marks 24 years of uninterrupted democracy process, the Director General of Michael Imodu National Institute for Labour Studies, MINUS, Issa Aremu, has again affirmed that Nigeria is the destination of democracy in Africa and that it has come to stay in Nigeria. Aremu stated this during an event by the Institute to mark the 2023 Democracy Day, where he maintained that despite challenges facing the country, there are still several benefits of a democratic system. He specifically notes that labor unions have taken advantage of the democratic space to organize, freely associate, and without any form of harassment by the democratic system, unlike during the military regime when labor leaders were imprisoned. He insisted that labor must partner relevant government agencies to deepen democracy.
Today, Nigeria is marking 24 years of uninterrupted democratic process. This thing that we take for granted, that's what is lacking in Sudan. The conflict in Sudan is absence of a democracy. It's quite easier for military dictatorship to take over power, but it's difficult for them to know when to stop. But in a democracy, you have constitutional benchmark. You are elected for 4 years. If people want you, they can renew your mandate for another term. And if they don't, you need to step out of office. In the last 24 years, we had a serious test case in which a sitting president died in office. The late President Musa Yar'Adua, may so rest in peace. But the Constitution, with all its limitations, 1999, helped us to midwife that challenge. And that's why when we had what they call doctrine of necessity,
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, should marriage expenditure be regulated? More to come after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. And here's a recap of our top stories. We brought you Godswill Akpabio emerges Senate President, defeats Abdulaziz Yari. And Tajuddin Abbas is elected Speaker of House of Representatives. Now moving on to more stories, the Kwara State government has once again called for more collaborative efforts with stakeholders in health sector in order to enhance the provision of health facility in the state. People of Offa also on their own are also assured the readiness of the community to collaborate with the government for better healthcare delivery in the state. The report.
The people of Offa in Offa local government area of Kwara are known for their determination to develop the community on their own without necessarily wait for government intervention on most occasions. This informed the establishment of this medical facility in which a memorandum of understanding is being signed. The president of the Offa Metropolitan Club called for collaboration of government and stakeholders to enhance healthcare facility in the state.
The whole idea is to be able to complement what the hospital, the government has put in place. We are going to be able to attract experts that ordinarily will not be here, so that instead of having people embark on medical tourism, people having some slight headache or something, they are not sure, they have to get to Lagos, they have to get outside. We will have the facilities here where they can be tested.
The representative of the state government also corroborates the need for partnership and collaboration between the government and stakeholders, as government cannot do it alone.
They are already collaborating because this edifice is going to augment what government has on ground already. And you know, traveling back and forth, sometimes people end up losing their lives. So this is really going to help. in augmenting what government is offering at the moment. Government cannot provide everything. It's not all the diagnostic services we have in our facility here in Offa. So some of the things we don't have, they will have. So instead of traveling, like I said, going to Abuja, Lagos, and even traveling out of the country, this facility will definitely provide some of those things.
While commending the people of Offa for their bold step in the establishment of the clinic, government calls on other community to look for what they can do in other sectors to complement the government's efforts.
The bill passed by the 9th Sokoto State House of Assembly regulating marital expenses has been generating mixed reactions in the state, with some residents of the state expressing fear that it only targeted the poor. Abubakar Awal Imam reports that the law has been receiving praises and knocks since it was passed in May this year. The report.
On May 9, 2023, Sokoto State House of Assembly passed into law the amended Sokoto Marital Expenses Law. The law named Regulation and Control of Expenses of Marriages, Naming and Circumcision Ceremonies, and for purposes connected therewith 2022 was aimed at checkmating extravagances associated with marriage, among other things. Our findings reveal that the least one can spend on his wedding is about 1 million naira, regardless of his financial status. This involves purchasing cartons of exotic drinks, sweets, and some token cash gift to the bride in the name of I Love, the payment of dowry, and at least a set of bags containing tens of different clothing materials, jewelries, shoes, and cosmetics, among others.
The kind of provisions determined for the marriage is also being controlled, a sizable number, and I believe that is also a very good one. We go a long way in creating, in reducing competition between the fair groups. Somebody will do more than 100 or 30, 20 bags, boxes of provisions for the marriage. But I believe now when there's uniform rate, there's going to be a drastic reduction of competition among the peer groups.
The new law, however, limit ICI law expenses to only 2 cartons of sweet with 20,000 cash gift to the bride, but there was no limitation to dowry. The law, which is targeting only Muslims, also pegged bridal clothes locally known as kailepi to only 10 wrappers, just as it stipulates 1 month imprisonment with an option of 50,000 naira for any person who violates the law.
Also call it more important is the state government to ensure implementation of this law, because when you don't spend above your means, you are not likely going to be looking for loans, and you are not even going to likely to engage in stealing or banditry, because when you spend the money that you don't have and you want to pay, you will go into anything in order to get that money and pay back that loan.
While some residents of the state see it as a welcoming development, others fear that it will only act on the poor.
It's when you have that you spend, and it's not mandatory for you when you are getting married or on naming ceremony for you to do some certain outrageous expenses. It depends on the family, it depends on the background, it depends also on the orientation and also the belief. It depends on the self-esteem of both parties, either that of the wife or the husband that are into that celebration. And I want to believe that those that are going to make those laws are mostly also at the top, and they are the ones that will break that law. Believe you me, they are the only ones that can spend that kind of outrageous figure that we are talking about.
A renowned Islamic scholar in the state, Sheikh Isa Talata Mafra, who spoke with our reporter on phone, said the law contravenes Sharia law. Abubakar Awal Imam, reporting for Trust TV.
Now from the international scene, at least 6 people were killed in a Russian missile strike on an apartment building in Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's hometown of Kryvyi Rih on Tuesday. Residents sobbed outside the burnt-out apartment block from which smoke billowed about after the early morning attack on the central Ukrainian city. Officials said at least 25 people were wounded and others could still be trapped under the rubble. Rescue operations were underway in the apartment building and in a destroyed warehouse. City Mayor Alexandra Milkul confirmed at least 6 people had been killed. In an earlier post, he had said 3 people were killed, at least 7 were believed trapped under the rubble, and about 25 others were wounded. Russia did not immediately comment on the attack. It has repeatedly struck cities across Ukraine since its full-scale invasion in February 2022, though it denies targeting civilians. Moscow has also accused Ukraine of cross-border shelling as Kyiv carries out counter-offensive operations. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.